Now, we will have two short shows in a row, and we'll begin with digitalization and sustainability driving tomorrow's competitiveness. Digitalization as a driver of sustainable growth, is that possible? Then competitiveness through responsibility, is that possible? Then digital transformation benefits. Is it possible for all communities to benefit from that? So moderator is Oskars Priede, moderator of Me and Media. Welcome, Oskars.
Thank you, Valdis. All right, good morning, everybody, in this 2025 Territory Forum. This panel brings together two, I think, the most powerful forces in nowadays business that shape modern businesses, digitalization and sustainability. So these are no longer like separate strategies, definitely. They are, if you think about a vehicle, they are like twin engines for competitiveness for both public and private sectors. We'll explore how the combination of innovation and also responsibility towards our environment helps companies not only just grow faster, but also grow better. And by doing that, building resilience, trust, and long-term value. That is the idea of this panel. So let me briefly introduce our panelists here. Māris Kuzmins from Latvia's State Forests. He's a member of the board there, so he's bringing hands-on experience on how sustainability is applied in practice and also within leadership decisions in boardrooms. Artūrs Āķis from the I'm not sure if it's a company, it's an organization probably, or both. It's named Future Scene. It's specializing in legal and financial aspects of sustainable finance and digital innovation. And sitting next to me, Rinalds Celmiņš from the Ministry of Environmental Protection and Regional Development, offering the public sector perspective and insights from ESG tool. You'll hear about the tool a bit later also, which is developed with partners from across Baltic countries and Nordic region. So why don't we start our discussion with a kickoff question about digitalization and sustainability, which are, one might say, buzzwords, or we can just say strong words. What do they actually mean in practice for competitiveness? And from your perspective, why these two dimensions now have to go hand in hand? Artūrs, perhaps we can start with you, since you not only work with one company, but with many big players in our market.
Yeah, sure. It's my pleasure to be here. Hello, everyone. Speaking about the digitalization and sustainability as two undisputable things that should go together, we see working with private and public sector that a lot of companies not really struggle with data itself, because all the business owners already have all the data that needs to be reported. It's more about how do we communicate about the said data, and do we have any management systems in place to communicate that data. And what we see is that digitalization tools as itself allows for the structure to be in a place when a company or employees doesn't really know what to start from. And I believe digital tools are here to help us to introduce that structure for reporting and also positioning yourself in this competitive landscape.
Māris, what do you think, representing state forests? Would you say all is said and I have nothing to add, or perhaps something more?
Well, of course, we all need the data, and I do not have much to add in terms of reporting, because we are ready for reporting. We've done reporting for a few years, and now we are ready also to change the system for reporting process. But of course, the data and the digitalization comes hand in hand with sustainability and all the decisions that we have to make in our company. Each decision that we make, we calculate many years ahead what is going to be the impact of the decision that we are currently making.
Can you come up with a recent example? I'm just curious about how is it done in the board decision-making process, where you think about the long-term aspects and calculate stuff.
Yeah, well, we as a company, we do many things, but of course the most important thing that we do is we grow trees. That is something that we do on our land. When we grow trees, we have to make many different decisions on how we are going to do that. What type of species, in what way we are going to plant, at what time we are going to cut, what are going to be the volumes, what we produce and deliver to our customers. But the funny thing about our company maybe is that when I talk about strategic planning and long-term planning, I talk about 120-year period. So each year we do calculations with different scenarios for next 120 years, because trees grow slow.
Is that slow? I mean, 120 sounds like really slow. I thought of like 30, 40, and we can cut it so it's longer.
Yeah, well, tactical plan or the tactics is 5 + 5 years, so it's for 10 years for our company. But yeah, strategic is for 120 years.
All right. What about ministry? How many years the span you think about? Is it one like 4-year election period or something like that?
Well, maybe I can start with a quote that resonated very strongly in the morning in what I came across while coming to this event. That was, in every moment of history, there is a moment of destiny. And that is what the sense of feeling we have in the Ministry of Smart Administration. It's not a 120-year lifespan, that's for sure. But digitalization and sustainability is definitely inseparable. There are two pillars of work that cannot be divided. And that leads to more efficient services, transparency, accountability, etc. And if you ask these examples, I may also mention one, for example, the system that is used for drafting legislation, because all of the legislation is being elaborated in digital manner, traceable, or all stakeholders can track and work with all the comments in real life, and everybody is engaged. And maybe the second one is, again, from the other angle, is ECG tool, where we help these sustainability goals, not only by digitalization, but also from sustainability to meet them together in the crossroads.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for the intro. I think we have set the scene now and understood the roles of our today's discussions panelists. The question to Arturs, we in the backstage talked about which companies you work with, and you named some big names, and perhaps you can also name them from the stage here. But my key question here is, what are the drivers behind these companies? Why do they ask for your help? I mean, there must be something they see value in. I mean, the sustainability calculations, reporting, building strategies. What is it that they lack, and why do they turn towards your company?
Yeah, I think it's not like companies really lack understanding of what's happening and how should they calculate emissions, how should they report. It's the general confusion with all the changes that are coming, and I think for the most part they come to us to get the expert's opinion of what actually is happening right now in the world. And just by a side quest, we do additional work. We calculate emissions, we do the reporting, we calculate the most, I think the hardest emission to calculate emission scope 3. But at the same time, all we do for our clients, including Cleanar and Latvijas Dzelzceļi and Augstsprieguma tīkls, it's not only about reporting as itself, it's more about strategically positioning company for them to understand what are their risks, what are the impact they're having on the world, and what are the opportunities they have in front of them. So for the most part, we do a lot of reporting and calculations, but at the same time, our real mission is to promote a strategic thinking about that, because a lot of financial decisions also come from sustainability in the nowadays, and it's just two things that go together.
In your answer, I heard one interesting thing that besides requiring from you this and this and that, they also want to know what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
Do you know what's going on in the world?
Yeah, as of now.
Can you share like a brief version here?
I mean, I can share the European view on the recent regulation changes. I think you might heard Omnibus. Probably some of you that have tackled with sustainability heard about Omnibus. Omnibus is not yet in power, but we already have quick fixes that are coming from the European Commission just to make the burden of reporting a bit less. About the reporting itself, more about like leaving some headroom to think about the strategic things. Maybe not so much about the reporting itself, but on the perspective outside of the European Union, with all the things that are happening in the United States and the policy there, we still see that sustainability is still a big topic there, even though many can say that it's not relevant no more, it's not competitive. We still see that biggest investor allocators, institutional investors, they still take into account ESG considerations when allocating capital. So it's nowhere to be gone.
So you're saying that politicians talk one thing, but money talks differently, and still is prioritizing sustainability?
I would say they talk about the same thing. The money is just a tool. They talk about their policies, right? It's just a tool how they spread out the policies. How do we make actors that maybe were bad actors, were polluting something, how do we make them not to pollute unless we give them the tools, the money to transition to something else?
Maris, you mentioned like you covered the big picture, the 120 years and growing trees, but then I guess the board is busy also with some like more questions that would be solvable like by today or should have been done yesterday. How many years have you worked for the company, by the way? Like approximately?
16 and a half.
16 and a half. So that's not an approximate number?
Yeah,
so you're counting. Why do you know it so exactly?
Trying to achieve something, yeah.
Okay. So 16 and a half years. Do you remember the year or the period, I mean, or the happenings in Latvia when your company introduced sustainability as a strategic topic in decision making? When did it happen?
Well, that happened before I started working at the company. That started right at establishing the company in 1999. That was amongst the first goals that had to be defined at that moment. So a long time ago.
Yeah, but then came all the digital tools that we nowadays treat as for granted. What about these tools nowadays in your company's work? Do you see that they advance the path towards even more sustainable way of doing business?
Yes, of course, but currently after 25 years of business, I think it's sometimes hard for us even to figure out what we could digitalize. We've done everything. We've digitalized everything. The last thing that we digitalized this year or at the beginning of this year was waybills. So the paper version of what you are carrying in your truck. That is now completely digital. We call it e-waybills or digital waybills. So we have quite a large data hub. We call it wood flow data center that we have in the industry. So all the companies are running their data through this hub. So what we managed to do, we managed to introduce the digital waybills. So no more papers in trucks driving around. They just have the mobile app, and companies receive data through their databases. So even up to this small thing, we've digitalized even this step of our business process. And also all the trucks moving around our country, they move around by predefined algorithms how they should drive. So everything of that is automated and digitalized. Those are not decisions made by human. Of course, our employees approve the initial plan and change something, but for like 70 or 80% of all the transportation orders, they are done in an automated way through our IT systems. And that helps us reduce kilometers driven on the road, and that helps us to reduce the emissions, of course. Each kilometer matters, so we could reduce overall CO2 emissions as well.
And do you see the profitability increasing thanks to those digital innovations.
Exactly. That's not only about the ecological aspect or the sustainability, that's also about the income for our company. So the less kilometers driven around our roads is more income for us, and therefore we are able to pay larger dividends back to the state, of course.
Thank you for doing that. Question about the cultural aspect in this regard. If you automate such processes, that leaves more free time on the hands of employees, or at least it should. Do you see somehow that they feel, I don't know, more motivated, more creative thanks to those routinious tasks that now are done by computers?
Yes, exactly. They can just do more other things, and everybody wants to work in a modern and digitalized company. And for example, when we introduce drones, we currently have around 200 drones. Soon is going to be up to I think 400 drones in our company. So first, when we started doing that, our employees couldn't understand what are we going to do with this tool and how it's going to affect my everyday life. But currently, when we understand that if by using a drone I can do work much faster and much more efficient, in much more efficient way, I can do other things. I can visit much more places in the forest and see what's happening in the forest in more and more areas. So that's what we are really happy about. We can be aware of what's happening on everyday basis in a much larger area. So, for example, yeah, this example of a tool and all the mobile apps that we have on our tablets and phones, they just help us work much faster.
Right. Before we jump to the questions, Rinald, what about the state policy view? I mean, your ministry, I think sometimes you do all the things other ministries don't want to do. I mean, do you have this impression? I'm not sure, but if we have to pick some digital aspects of the ministry's work, perhaps we could talk about the ESG tool. You mentioned it, but what is it meant for? What does it solve, and who should use it?
Yeah, we can see two sides of a coin, as already picking up on the previous speakers. One is the legal side, where digitalization comes in at hand, and that is precisely where ESG tool comes in. And the main aim is to explain for small and medium-sized companies how to comply, what are the reporting obligations, etc. So to navigate the I would not say complex, but maybe a little bit complex environment, and to come at hand for companies to meet these goals and in such a way to foster the result of achieving sustainability goals. But on the other side, we can see also the backstage of data processing, database decision making that is fueling up the sustainability, as already mentioned by Mais, that database decision-making is the primary goal also on policy side and also on the business side, where sustainability is achieved at a much faster pace.
So you mentioned, just correct me if I'm wrong, so the tool is more or less meant to mid-sized or small companies. Perhaps probably the large corporations anyway already deal with these things and are experts on the matter.
Yeah, well, a tool was developed within international project, and during these 2 and a bit more years, we have had a lot of debates with companies, and we see lots of examples where companies are already introducing and changing or have already changed the mindset, driving towards data-based decisions and as a result, achieving sustainability or environment goals. So this definitely comes at hand.
Just one last one about the ESG tool. Is it like a web-based software, or do I download it, or do I take courses? How does it work in practical life?
It's a web-based. Everybody can go and see. And the navigation was the biggest challenge was to gather all the input, how to make it UX user experience more friendly, and to navigate the legislative environment and the results needed to be achieved.
Valdi, We are open for questions if you have some.
Yes, yes. The question is, when the technology changes and suddenly you start using like 400 drones, does it change also the culture within a company? So, because some people just not for that. So, is there a notion that technology changes the culture?
I would say yes, of course, definitely. And there are, of course, still people who do not want to fly around with a drone, and it just makes them sick. So they will just do other things, but they are still all the other things that they are going to do will still be with the mindset of efficiency. This is also something that through technology, what we managed to do this year is to also to reduce the number of our employees at our company.
It reduces the number.
Yeah, we had to.
Because sometimes, for example, like McDonald's, suddenly when you do your own order, you pay yourself, suddenly there's just more orders coming in. And people are saying technology makes more work for other people rather than less.
Yes, and this is what you have to be very aware of. Where is this balance of the digitalization, where it's not necessary to overdo something in terms of digitalization. That's why I also said that I don't think that we as an example, in our company, we do not need to digitalize anything at this moment, but we have to work on the transformation side of this. We have to utilize everything that we have developed, all the tools, all the systems, all the data. We have to now learn how to use that to achieve higher efficiency.
And on ESG tool, in Europe, I know a lot of companies are using it because you cannot take part in tenders if you are not using and you cannot report on ESG. So question is how this thing goes in Latvia. Do we have that culture of really responsible choosing of companies to work with?
Definitely, but it's a long way to go since, as I mentioned, during these 2 years, we've had a lot of debates, discussions also with different companies, and there are definitely companies who have sustainability as a high goal and across all the company culture already established. But it's a long way to go, and that's why we're also building also on the next steps, and on the 4th of November we're having a big conference. If somebody has more in-detailed questions, then it will be a full day with experts, with companies, success stories, so you name it. So it's another possibility to have insight in the tool and see how it works.
And what are the benefits for companies when they start to think about sustainability? So can we say, you know, it's better for your finances too?
Better for finances, I'm not sure about if it's better for finances in the short term. Obviously, being sustainable now means a lot of administrative burden to tackle on, but that's only a short-term perspective. If I may say it, we see that our clients, especially the big ones who are lacking behind on sustainability topic, well, not lacking, but they are already transforming their business models right now, and those who are only thinking about sustainability right now already lack on that, if you are a big company.
All right, time's up. We have 5 more seconds on the screen. Just a small reminder before we close. At 1:30, you are all invited to join a seminar called From Obligation to Opportunity, How Sustainability Drives Competitive Advantage. Here in Ata Center, second floor, so that means this floor, room T. So room T at 1:30, you're all invited. Thanks a lot to all the insights and all the activity from the audience. Thank you so much.